Welcome to The Right Question. I'm Daphne Gray Grant. Today we're talking about increasing your LinkedIn network. Today I'm answering a question from Julia Page from Brisbane, Australia. Here's what she asked.
Hello Daphne, it's Julia from Brisbane in Australia. I would like to know how I should write to increase my network on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thanks, Julia. The interesting thing about your question is that it has a lot more to do with marketing and time management and goal setting than it does with writing. I made LinkedIn my own project about 2 years ago, and I now have more than 800 connections. It took me some time and diligence to get to that number, but let me tell you about what worked for me. Number 1, set weekly goals. I don't know how many connections you have, but let's assume it's fewer than 100. Going from 100 to even 250 is going to seem really daunting. When I coach writers, I teach them to focus on small goals, even for big projects like books. I urge you to do the same with LinkedIn. Try to get something reasonable, let's say 10 new connections a week. If you landed 10 new connections a week, you'd have 260 connections by the end of 6 months. Doesn't that sound more reasonable? 2. Post often. This will give you more opportunities to get likes, shares, and comments, which will appear on the feeds of all your followers. This can be very powerful. I currently post to LinkedIn only once a week, but that's largely because I have so many other ways of connecting with readers. If LinkedIn is your primary source, you might want to post more often than that. 3. Make the effort to give those posts a strong headline. We all end up writing headlines at the last minute. After all, we need to write the stories first. But this doesn't mean that headlines are unimportant. In fact, they're the most important part of any story or post. Make sure you take the time to write a headline that will really sell the value of what you've written and truly engage your readers. 4. Make comments on the posts of your existing connections. No one is interested in a bunch of looky-loos. If you want to get more connections, you need to be engaged. This doesn't even require a lot of work. All you have to do is hit a like button or make a brief comment that will keep you front and center in your connections' minds. 5. Promote your LinkedIn post in your other social media accounts. Whenever I post on LinkedIn, I also tweet about it and make a Facebook post as well. Yes, this is a bit of work, but it's a way of getting extra attention. 6. Consider participating in some LinkedIn groups. People engaged in the same kind of work as you are most likely to be interested in what you have to say. To find these groups, click on the work icon in the top right of your LinkedIn homepage and select Groups from the drop-down menu. Then, click Discover at the top of the page to view suggested groups. You request membership by clicking the Ask to Join button under the group description. I know I haven't talked very much about writing, but that's not the primary issue for LinkedIn. If people are interested in your subject area, they're going to be interested in what you have to say. Concentrate on finding the right people, and then write about what interests you and them. Before long, you'll have more followers than you know what to do with. Finally, let me wrap up with a quote from marketing consultant Bobby Darnell. Active participation in LinkedIn is the best way to say, "Look at me," without saying, "Look at me." Thanks for your question, Julia. I wish you every luck in getting more LinkedIn.